application somewhere else, or whether you just want to process some data. It makes it very easy for you to deploy whatever it is that you want.
Got it. Got it. Okay. I don't know if you guys maybe have like a dedicated channel where like people who want to build on top of IO can like maybe chat. I would be like very interested in maybe talking to more people and evolving this idea which I have. I am also talked to like other architects about as well.
Yeah, so there's a channel called Deployers. It's not super active, but there's a channel called Deployers. If you are a tier 3 and above, you should be able to access it. So let me see. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and give you tier 3 so you can see it. On your right hand, on the left-hand side in Discord, if you go into community, there's a channel called #Deployers. Maybe help start the conversation. I think that a lot of people who are in the community today are mostly on the worker side, right? But you can
Got
start
it.
the convo in there. We can chat.
I just got it. Thank you so much and good
Of
luck.
course. All right, who's next?
For like us.
May I be the
Hi
next?
there.
Oh, Panos. Yeah, I'm
Well,
sorry, man.
yeah,
Yeah. Go
no
on.
worries, no worries. Thank you, man. Okay, I have some fast questions, actually.
Please.
Maybe it's also good for people here. First question, when the airdrops will be distributed?
I-
Okay, that's awesome. I was expecting that. Uh, could you please share about the exchange that we're gonna be in, or
No,
still?
I cannot. We got it done, but we are under NDA. Come on, guys. Ask me
Okay.
good questions.
Okay.
You know the questions that no one is able to answer. So you only
Okay.
have me
So,
for a little bit of time.
okay. I just want to know about when the Mac users will be used by the network.
So this is a very good
Okay.
topic. I actually heard that we caused a Mac Mini shortage in Korea, which is a little bit scary to me. So listen, I'm going to give you guys some advice here, right? Depins are pretty early. The applications of depins and compute depins are pretty early. If you guys are not confident, I mean, I've said it multiple times. The Mac program was an experiment, right? We knew that people had laptops at home. We knew that people had Mac Minis at home, and we wanted you guys to connect them so we could try to see if we could use it for AI. We put a lot of work in to be able to support Apple CPUs in order to do this, right? Now, based on our research, we found that Mac chips are capable of running some pretty interesting workloads. However, one of the limitations that we have is that Mac chips, especially some of the lower grade Mac chips and older Mac chips, do not have enough RAM, right? We're talking about some of these chips having 8 GB of RAM, which is a lot for a consumer use case, but not a lot for running workloads, right? Especially AI workloads. And so from where we stand right now, it's pretty clear that some of the Ultra chips and Max chips are definitely usable. The Mac chips for AI are probably a little bit less usable. However, IO.NET is a generalized compute network, right? We're very much focused on AI. Like a lot of the problems we're trying to solve are AI focused, but we want to also provide opportunities for other workloads to be run on the network. I just can't guarantee when that is going to happen, right? So that being said, you're probably all saying, holy shit, I bought a MacBook, or holy cow, I'm connected, I'm a Mac worker. What am I supposed to do, right? After TGE, what do I do? The rewards are not going to go to zero, right? We're not going to just dial everything down for Mac chips to zero. But yeah, the rewards for Macs will be reduced because we can't use them to the same degree that we can other chips. Does that make sense?
Yeah, actually it does.
Okay. Right. You all are going to be part of this community. You all will be, hopefully be holders of IO. You guys will all be participating in this community. The last thing that you want us to do is to incentivize a bunch of devices that can't actually generate revenue, right? Like that would be
Yeah, for
bad for the
sure.
network. It would only be good for these holders. It would be good for Mac users for a little bit, right? But as holders, you guys would be very sad because the project would be sustainable. And trust me, I put a lot of time into making sure that this project is sustainable for everyone, right? In both different types of markets, for all different types of users. What I expect to happen is that the same people today who are running a lot of Mac chips will probably be stakers, right? Instead of putting money into hardware that will then connect to the network and be unusable, they will probably just be stakers. They will find the best nodes in the network that they want to support, and they will stake against those nodes and participate in the network that way. All right, next question, guys. I got 30 more minutes with you all.
Okay, maybe the next one.
Please.
Hey, Husky, how are you doing?
Good, man.
TG is
How are you?
coming soon, and there are some questions are becoming more relevant. So the first one is from the very beginning of the campaign on Galaxy, the task for daily communication for 10, 20 days in a line not worked. Do you have any plans to fix that?
We do. So it's a fantastic question. Let me give you guys a lot of transparency into where we are right now. So IO.net, as you see it today, we originally had a discussion to put the word beta on it because it is very much beta, right? But it didn't look very pretty, and so we took the beta off. The problem is that IO.net was only ever built to support 60,000 workers, right? I think we talked about that right before Galaxy launch. We said, hey, we're trying to grow from 25,000 to 60,000. That was almost 3x growth, right? And in my head, I was saying that would be amazing. 3x growth would be awesome, right? Turns out that you guys are amazing people. We have an awesome community, and we grew by 15x. So now there's like 300,000 of us, right? Or 300,000 workers. Well, that changes things for us, right? Like now we have to scale up the backend infra. We have to scale up our heartbeat system. We have to scale up our uptime system. You guys literally broke BetterStack. We were using BetterStack. You guys broke it, right? We were using heartbeat. You guys broke it. We were using an Azure-based backend. You guys broke it. And so we in the last 4 weeks, we've basically just been trying to keep up with everyone. And at some point, we sat down with the engineering team and we said, all right, guys, we have an entirely new version of IO.net that supports 1 million workers that we've been building this whole time that's going to release on 4/28. We're now 23 days away. Do I spend all of our engineering resources to patch the old system that I need to throw away anyways in 3 weeks? Or do I make the team ensure that we can deliver the best product we can in 3 weeks? And so it's a bit of a trade-off, right? What I decided to do was to basically minimally fix the old version so that you guys could still connect your workers and I could see the heartbeat and just say, screw the front end. Because when I do the rewards, when I go and calculate everyone's rewards, who cares what the front end says, right? As long as I can see your node and as long as I can give everyone the correct uptime, which is going to be 100%, like everyone's getting 100% uptime, right? I just need to ensure that you're a real node. If I can do that, who cares? I'm going to trash the old system anyway, right? And in 3 weeks, everyone's going to be happy because you'll all get your rewards. The new IO.net will be out. We're all going to go to the moon, whatever, right? That's how I kind of think about it, because we only have a limited amount of engineers, and every time we rush to fix this, every time we rush to patch the old system, those are engineering resources that we can't give to building out the new system. It's also one of the reasons why building out things like this front end points display has been so painful, because again, it takes engineering resources. The old system was never designed to store that data or surface that data. And so we have to go build this little thing, right, that we can't even use in the new system just so we can make everyone happy. And some of these things we're trying to do, but some of these things we can't do. Next question.
All right. Can I talk now?
The next one?
Oh,
Can I?
I think, okay, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so hi there. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Excellent. So my first question to you is, I talked to the last time about cybersecurity, and Shad did actually reach out to me. I sent him a few of my observations, but he never got back to me. I think he's very busy, hasn't been online. So my first, actually, it's more of a request. Can you forward, my request to whoever is in charge of your cybersecurity? Because there are a few things you need to
Yes,
be
we
talked
actually
about
just
there.
hired a full-time SecOps
Like,
director.
can you send me the director, please, if you don't mind?
Why don't you DM me on Telegram, Husky6, and I will put us in a group.
I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. My
course.
next question is, I know you're very, you are very passionate about the future of the product and the number of customers, potential clients, and you just said that you have 30 contracts looking for, pretty much to get onboarded as soon as we become public. So my first question to you is, have you done any modeling, and do you have any good feels about what the demand is going to be? The reason why I'm asking you this is because I have been an OG on a couple of the older DEPIN projects, and I have a PTSD from building, you know how they say, build it and they'll come, and we build it and they didn't come. So what are your thoughts on that?
So I think that one of the challenges with a lot of projects is that they hyper-focused on model training, right? Like model training was sort of what people thought would be the biggest unlock in AI DEPINs. And I think what we're realizing now is that model training is pretty difficult, right? You need access to a certain like grade of equipment, which we actually will. We have this like incredible partnership that I can't wait to sign and share with you guys, but which I'm trying to get signed in the next 5 days, and then I can share it with you guys by the 15th. But you're absolutely right. Like the problem with Web3 is that we try to build decentralized versions of Web2 products, and we assume that if we can serve the base need, that people will come. What most people forget is that you often don't buy a car because it can take you from point A to point B. You buy a car because it makes you feel good. You buy a car because it's comfortable. You buy a car because it has all these different features. You buy a car because your wife thinks it looks amazing or your husband thinks it looks amazing, right? Like there's all these other non-tangible portions of why you use certain products and services. And a lot of Web3 companies forget that it's not just about providing the compute. You need a great UI. You need a great sales team. You need good customer support. You need something that is not buggy. You need a fantastic user experience for the customer. And
Optics are very important.
That's why,
yes.
Exactly, right? People in Web3 know how to build dApps, but they don't know how to build and run businesses. That's why at IO.net, I am the only person who is crypto native. Like really, I mean, some people on my team are as well. We hired people from outside of Web3 to build this because our customers are outside of Web3, right? The partners that you guys have seen us announce today, they're all Web3 native, except for Krea. Krea is a traditional Web2 company. They're AI like AI meets Canva, Photoshop company. But we had to sit down with them and like really explain where we were as a company, where the industry was, the pros and the cons, right? We will always be super honest with our customers and make sure that they understand what they're getting themselves into, right? And in return for taking that risk, in return for, working on something or using something that is a bit high friction, they were able to secure a very low cost of compute. I think they were running A100s for 89 cents an hour, right? So that's the trade-off that we provide. I think, and I won't speak for other projects, right? Because everyone's a bit different. A lot of projects will say, we're going to build a marketplace and the market dynamics are good. And so people will come and use it. I know from having worked at many SaaS companies that that's not true. The market does not just know that you are better. You have to go and sell them. And then you have to build an account management function, a support function to make sure that everyone feels good when they're using it. And like, I will be honest, like that is a huge portion of where I focus. And one of the reasons why I come and do these AMAs with you guys, right? This is sort of how we at IO.net feel about customer service and communication, is that we want to be available and open, and we treat our customers the same way.
Yeah, I mean, your impromptu AMA is actually a good indication of where you stand. I think you are one of the few people that I've met that has bridges, Web 2 and Web 3. I wish you the best of luck. I mean, you are definitely seeing the things I think the right way. Of course, who am I to say anything? I'm a cybersecurity guy, but I've seen a thing or two. So thank you for that answer. My next question to you is TGE. You know this is going to be a mosh pit, the start of trading. Have you acquired any resources that will help you with going through the TGE? I'm not selling my services or anything. I don't know anything about TGE, but I've been through a lot of initial offerings, and the pump and dump schemes there, and the amount of abuse that has taken place has been humongous. And I'm talking projects that have been otherwise really well grounded and well organized. So all the stuff, all the funny business that's going on when introducing when a new token. Have you guys prepared a scenario for how you're going to go about this?
Yeah, so I'll give you a little bit of history on myself. This is my fourth major token launch above 1 billion FDB. I was previously the head of growth and strategy at Avalanche, right? Top 10 token. I actually almost went to go run all of BNB chain, but instead I decided to come here. The token launch dynamic is very tricky, right? There's a lot of players involved. But I'll be honest and tell you guys what I'm doing. We're not just working with one market maker, we're working with 3. That means that all 3 market makers have to compete with each other, and no single market maker controls our market, right? You want them to compete with each other, not have them compete with you with retail. We've talked to, as part of our fundraising process, we talked to over 500 funds, liquid token funds, investors, VCs, whales, because we wanted to educate people and get them excited about the project, right? We did not let them all invest. I think we ended up with a cap table of 70 or so institutional investors, but we talked to over 500 because, again, it's important that big hands know about the project, right? I am launching with the biggest exchanges, deep liquidity, huge audiences. We gave less than 10% of the total airdrop to KOLs. 90% goes to community. We are spreading the community airdrop to, at this point, over 1 million wallets, right? We're ensuring very good distribution and no concentration. The team and all investors and all KOLs who invested are all locked up for a year. They cannot sell. They literally cannot sell. It's like Celestia, right? The investors don't even start vesting until 1 year. Like at 1 year, they have no tokens. They're vesting. Then they have to vest for another 24 months.
So you started out
as IO. Yeah, so we and IO, we as the foundation, or sorry, not me specifically, but our foundation, the IO Foundation, has committed 1% of supply, which is 5 million tokens, to providing on-chain liquidity. So we're going to take that risk with 1% of supply. We're going to put it on chain so that there's deep liquidity, and we're working with Meteora and Orca to ensure that we have that liquidity to protect on chain. I have done as much as I can to ensure that this launch is fair and that we have liquidity provisioned both on centralized exchanges as well as on decentralized exchanges in order to make sure that we don't run into problems. That being said, I don't control the market, right? And what's really funny is I was having this conversation with my team this week. They were saying, hey, why would you do a 5% airdrop? Why wouldn't you vest your airdrop? Why wouldn't you keep people locked up, right? And I said, what's really funny is that when you launch a new token, right, if you don't airdrop people and if you don't unlock it right away, who's going to make the market? There's no market if there are no sellers. You know what I mean? Like you can't have buyers if no one is selling the token, right? You actually want to have people selling the token because that creates a market. And if you have a market and you have airdrop sellers slowly cycling through their tokens, right? Some people will sell, and we want some people to sell. That's what creates the opportunity for people to buy in. That's what creates the opportunity for people to build larger positions. And that's a good thing. That's what we want. Hopefully that answers your question.
Oh, that was an excellent answer. I really like your answers because, Peters, this is not your first rodeo. And as I said, I've seen a thing or two, and I think your approach is spot on. And my last question is, we are going to do, that shows you how much I know about it, because I know nothing about it, obviously, but you're going to do the TG on Solana, right? It's going to be a Solana
That's right.
token, right? If you talk to the
Right.
Solana folks, because you know how Solana is, I mean, they have a lot of problems with their validators, with their uptime. They tend to like to crash every now and then. I can guarantee you that the TG event is going to be a serious bandwidth issue, and just pure backend horsepower challenge for them. So have you
are
talked
going
to them
to
about
break.
that?
We're going to break Solana.
I
I'm
know
going to tell
that.
you right now that if you guys thought Wormhole was bad, we are going to break Solana. I
Right.
have no
So
doubt
what are you
about
gonna
it.
what are you gonna do about it? We're just
So there's
gonna
a few
ride it
things that
out?
we're doing. There's a few things that we're doing about it. One is that we are in contact with the Solana Foundation, and we are working with them to see what can happen here. I mean, it sounds like this issue is not a congestion issue. It's actually a network structure bug in the way that they handle spamming of transactions, and so they're aware of it, right? And listen, we're not perfect, right? I worked at before, also top 10 token. We weren't perfect then either, right?
Right.
We have to give people the opportunity to fix things. Fortunately, we have 23 days until launch, and they're aware of this issue now. The second is that the liquidity that exists on centralized exchanges will be less impacted by this issue, right? Because
Right.
you're not necessarily trading on chain.
Yes. Yeah.
And then the third is that we are working with a partner who is running the airdrop. Like we're using their tech to run the airdrop, and we are working with them to optimize transactions so that like you can do this in different ways, right? You could do an airdrop where you actually just run like a million send functions. That's pretty painful and bad for the chain, right? If you do something like a claim, then people claim over time, and it's not as painful, right? Yes, people will spam right away, but it's not like but if they can't claim, it's not like the claim window is going to be 5 minutes, right? And so we can spread out the claim transactions over time, and that's a little bit lighter on the chain. So I am trying to do a lot here to make sure that we don't become an issue for Solana. There are ways for projects to be,
Right.
more optimized in how they run things so that you don't drive a ton of transactions in, a few blocks. So we're going to try to do that as well.
Have you considered helping them, giving them a horsepower / band hand with their validators? Because you guys are going to have some of the most powerful hardware, on this planet. So maybe the SDK that you guys are preparing should have an opportunity, talk to Solana people and see if you can include functionality that would allow people to, spin up validators. Or I'm just talking out of my ass right now, pretty much.
But the thing is that you're hitting on one of the things I'm most excited about, which is that we
I
actually
know that you guys are going
we
there.
actually do want to power Web3 infrastructure. And I think
There
validators,
you go.
stakeholders, and provers are a huge part of what we can do to drive utilization. And people always ask me, hey, what are you going to do with the lower end cards on the network, right? The ones that are not, maybe can run AI, but AI companies don't really want. We're going to run validators. Like,
Yes.
I am personally excited about AI, but I'm even more excited about powering all of Web3.
Oh,
Like, I want
there's
to
going
power
to be a
every
lot of,
validator.
there's going to be a lot of power. I mean, you will have your ups and downs, your ebbs and, and flows with, with the rendering, with the AI. But I know that if you get into the validator business, it's a steady stream of income, and that
Exactly.
is affected very little by anything.
Did you guys know that 70% of Web3 validators runs on centralized cloud? That's crazy.
They
Like
better do.
Web3 is centralized, right? So we're going to fix that. We are going to build a one-click validator solution to run EVM validators, Solana validators, Move validators. We're going to partner with every single chain to run validators. I
Now
think
you're
that is
talking.
one of the futures of what we do. And the beautiful thing about that is that it will actually open up more of the market so that we don't only have super expensive graphics cards, right? Because honestly, if you had a Mac, even like a Mac M2 Max, depending on your RAM and depending on the chain and how they choose to store state, you could probably run a validator. I mean, validators are potatoes. Like validators run on like crap hardware, right?
Yep.
The only difference between a validator and a graphic and kind of what you need for AI is that for AI, you tend to need a lot of CPU power, or sorry, you tend to need a lot of compute power relative to your RAM. And validators tend to have a lot more storage relative to compute power because you need to store state, right? And so, that's sort of why we keep looking at these Macs and we're going, 8 gigabytes of RAM is not enough, right? So
That, and also
it's a
Macs
great
are not
question.
very thermally stable. So you can cook up a Mac very quickly. I mean, the processor has some power, and you can run a validator, but you start pushing it, to do, rendering or any AI job, and you will run into thermal issues because Macs are fancy, they're pretty, but they're very thin and they don't dissipate heat very well. So on that note, I don't want to usurp the AMA. I'm just going to shut up and I'm going to let the next person talk. Very exciting. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
All
Beg
right,
me
who's next?
pardon. Yeah, I got some technical issue. Just one question, Hashki. What are
Please,
the
please.
requirements for a wallet in order to accurately receive a drop?
You just need to be a Solana wallet. So this is actually a really good question, and I will continue to repeat this more as we get closer. But I need everyone to check the wallet that they have connected in Discord, in their worker dashboard, and on Galaxy. There's nothing we can do if you guys give us a wallet and we send FPL tokens to it, and yeah, like if you guys send us a wallet that we cannot use and we send SPL tokens to it and it goes to a burn address or something, there's literally nothing we can do. So if you feel like there's any shadow of a doubt that you put the right wallet in, please check.
Yeah, we
And
should
there's
craft
nothing,
some.
and I can't check them right at scale. So
I got you. We should craft some guide, I think.
yeah, we will put out a message. I mean, in the Ignition program documentation, it very clearly spells out like what to do with the wallet. But that's good. We'll put out some more content. This happens with every airdrop, right? Like a bunch of people put in the wrong address.
Yeah. That's why I'm
It's
asking.
screwed.
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah. You know what we will end up doing, actually? I was thinking about this with the team, is sometime in the next couple of weeks, we're gonna start putting out the V1 of the claim page, and I'm gonna see if we can build just like a very easy query table so that you can put in your address or addresses and see if you're on the list, right? And then if you're not on the list, we can kind of figure it out.
Yeah.
I don't want to overcommit our engineering team right now because like they're actually gonna kill me if I keep asking them for things.
Okay, I got
May I
you.
ask you a question? May I ask?
All right.
Maybe
Actually, hey
one?
guys, let's go with Aranek and then let's
Yeah.
go with Clark's because I know they've been up here for a while.
Okay.
My voice. Yeah.
Oh,
Hello. Yeah, can you
Aranek
hear me?
QQ, can you ask your question, please?
Okay, can you hear me? Okay. Actually, I'm right now with application design and development. My class, I need present some about the right now. And
You're cutting in and out. I'm sorry.
I'm cutting now. Sorry about that.
You're cutting in and out. Can you?
Oh yes. Can you hear me right now?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to college right now in the second program, mobile application and development, and I need to create a project about explain the project about the IONET right now for my
Mhm.
like a lesson. And we have 32 people in my classmates. They are using all MacBooks, and I just wanna ask to you. They are late for like airdrops. I just wanna explain the airdrops for my classmates, but I just want to ask to you. The next Monday, I will present the IONET. I'm making the slide right now. And I just want to talk about the airdrop. But we are a little bit late because we are studying in the.
You're not. Sorry, I'm gonna move through your question quick. So I just put a link in chat. Please use the developer docs, and you can see that we have 3.5 weeks left.
Thank you, man. And my
Um,
question is, I filled up some TR3 form, but I didn't get any feedback, like anyone. Yeah, I am
you
scared.
filled out which form?
Form 3 for the TR3. I don't know. TR3.
I don't think there was a form to give people tiers. I did send out a feedback form earlier just to get people to give us feedback, but I don't think there was I don't think that there was like a reward for that.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, man.
hello everyone. May I ask
Hey,
now?
Clarks. Yeah, please.
Yeah, I represent the Cryptos community, and first of all, I would like to say that your product is incredible and you're really doing a cool job. Thanks for making the UE and the updates and the integrations in backend. And the question is, by what criteria does EONet select and aggregate resources from various sources to ensure the reliability and the efficiency of its decentralized computing infrastructure? Thanks a lot.
It's a great question. So once we fully launch, and again, these are all sort of things that will roll out sequentially, but the team has put together a onboarding period for compute. So today you can immediately connect, and there's sort of no proving period, right? You can literally connect your worker, and whether you are stable, unstable, high performing, low performing, we have no idea. Once the platform is fully rolled out, and as we kind of continue to improve, we're going to implement I think it's 7 days or 14 days, I can't remember. But during the 7 to 14-day onboarding period, we will push test workloads to your device so we can accurately measure your device speed and device capacity. And then we will use that to create a baseline for your device, right? Like a baseline capability score for your device. If you disconnect during the onboarding period, you will not get rewards. If you connect and stay connected during the onboarding period and you meet the minimum requirements of the network, you will then get retroactively rewarded for the time of your onboarding period. This mechanism we will roll out, but it's not something that's going to happen right away. Once you are actually in the network, we have this concept called proof of T-flops or proof of compute, which basically means that every few minutes we actually run a very small binary on your device, and it tests your ability to provide capacity, and it tests your ability to provide compute against the internet speed that you claim that you have, right? We don't do that today, because if we try to do that with our current infrastructure for 330,000 GPUs and CPUs, we would literally crash the system. So it's just not something that we could do right now. But again, like I said before, this current version of IO.net, if I'm being very honest, is really just to build community, right? Like we used it to unveil our concept to the world. We used it to introduce the project. We used it to meet all of you guys, to be able to facilitate a rewards program. But this is like 10% of what the network should be, and so we appreciate you guys' patience with us.
Okay, thanks a lot. So the second question, the last one, will not take a lot of time. As a crew of Cryptos community, we have a small community and we are helping in your chat, the people. So the next question is, what about the rules? As we know, you said that the criteria to getting tier 4 and tier 3 roles will change. So it will be harder, or for example, it will be easier. And for example, we know that a lot of people are making a lot of content, such as articles and YouTube videos, and they're not receiving the roles. But otherwise, people who are just checking in the chat are receiving tier 5 role. So how it will go in the future? Thanks a lot.
Yeah, listen, the Discord rules are not. There's no consistent like grinding for the Discord roles, and I know that it's annoying because like everyone wants very clear guidelines on how these roles are assigned. But the truth is, like the Discord roles are never meant to be a large portion of the rewards program. It was supposed to be a tool that we could use for like retroactive incentives, right? Like we have some people working on this community dashboard, gave them roles. Leland has been making memes for us for the last 4 weeks, gave him a role. I think the problem is that it's not just about creating content, right? Like I have 100 people a day DM me their Twitter link. I have 100 people a day DMing me the Medium articles that they write, and I read some of them, and it looks like they got ran through ChatGPT, right? I don't have time to review every single person's content, and so as a result, it's sort of like if 10 people in the community tell me about a piece of content, or if I am browsing Twitter and I see someone's content in the feed, I go and try to track them down and give them that role. But I can't. When people DM me content, I can't review all of it, right? And honestly, some of it is just not very well created, and it looks like everything else. And so, again, I'm sorry. There's no good way to solve this problem for you.
Yeah, I'm just asking the questions from the chats because, as I told you, we're like working with the people in chats on the project. So don't you think that you're missing some people which are making the really good content, or maybe don't you think that you should create some chats, or another channel where you can post your articles or videos or stuff like that?
We have tried to open that up a few times, and the bots keep spamming the crap out of it. So, my personal preference, truly, my personal preference is that people just create content because they want to create content. If you need like validation, don't create content. Like I think that's one of the problems is like people create content for the sole purpose of trying to get us to give them roles, and if that's why people are creating content, I don't want them to create content.
Okay, thanks a lot. So wish you a good weekend.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Zeth. Actually, can we? We've had a few people up here for a while. Nikolai, can you ask your question, please? I know you've been up here for a while.
Yeah, I have two questions. Hello, Hashki. Hello, AI.net team. Did the UI UX team received our comments about design?
They have. They have. The UI UX team has told me that they are very upset with me because I keep asking them to change the old UX when they are busy designing the new UX. So yeah, I'm trying to push some things through, but they've incorporated a lot of the feedback into the new UI UX as opposed to trying to just roll out these changes in the old one. So I really appreciate a lot of this feedback, and we'll make sure that we incorporate as much as possible.
Mhm. And second question, maybe you already answered on it, but okay. Why ZK technology is interesting for AI.net?
Because ZK technology requires a lot of compute. Running a ZK prover, right, like or a validator on a ZK chain requires significantly higher spec hardware than regular validators, which means that a compute DPIN like ours is actually really unique. Most validators run on CPUs, but running a ZK prover on a GPU might make a lot more sense, especially if you can find the storage that you need, right? Running a ZK prover also requires like an order of magnitude greater memory than a validator. And so I think that there's a really interesting moat there, right? Like we chose to focus on AI because if you can solve AI, you can solve most workloads. If you can solve ZK provers, you can also inherently run all validators, right? Because validators are easier to run than ZK provers. So we have a culture of trying to solve the hardest problem, because if we know that if we can solve the hard problem, everything else becomes doable, right?
Hello, okay, thanks AI.net team for work, all administration, goodbye.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Zeth, sorry, I cut you off earlier. Do you want to ask your question?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Aski. Nice to meet you. I'm just gonna be very fast. I spoke with Shadid on LinkedIn, and I will. I'm from Venice, Italy, and I will come to Token 2049 in Dubai to see the speech of Shadid and the rest of the conference. So I was wondering if there's gonna be any in-person meetup for the IONET community. That's the first thing. And then the second thing, I'm a shareholder in e-gaming company, and we have a lot of influencer and a big reach, let's say, of more than 2 million people and a lot of gamers. So I wanted to understand if there could be a referral or if it is something interesting for IONET to make a collaboration that we might, deep dive in person in Dubai. And the last thing, I'm part of like a tech campus in Italy, and we are having an artificial intelligence event with a couple of thousand people. It would be great if somebody of you could come and present IONET in there. Shadid told me that he would love. He's not going to be in person, but somebody else of the team. So as I try to increase my tier to tier 3 to get to an M&A on Wednesday, but I don't know, it didn't went through. Thank you for giving me the stage, so I share that now.
First of all, I just gave you tier 3. Appreciate you coming up to ask a question. And again, I'm sorry that Discord just like cannot handle the amount of people in here, right? And it's really funny because we have a lot of there are some bots, and we keep killing the bots, but there's a lot of real people in here, and so I think Discord is having issues. We're actually in touch with the Discord team, and we're trying to increase capacity. As far as the meetup at Token, we have a huge booth. I'll be there. Hans will be there. A lot of our team will be there. We'd be happy to host you. I'd be happy to grab a coffee with you if you'd like as well. Just let me know.
Amazing.
Yeah, feel free to stop by the booth, and yeah, we'll be around. We'll be in Dubai from the 10th to the 22nd, but we'll be at Token between the 16th and of course ETH Dubai till the 21st. So come and find us.
Fantastic. So I will come there and we just discuss in person, Aski. I will also be there for like 10 days, and I have a couple of friends that have some restaurants, so maybe we have dinner together. But I will come at the booth and make sure you understand who I am. That. Thank you.
Wonderful. I look forward to meeting you, man.
Yes.
All
thank
right.
you, man.
Next question, please. Who's up next?
Yo, hello.
Hello.
Can I ask my question?
Of course.
Yeah, I have a technical question, sir. What I'm wondering is this: we are a DE Pine project, yeah. We have a great power and resource at our disposal, yeah. But does DE Pine have the ability to dynamically manage GPU resources? I mean, like, for example, resource allocation, scheduling, balancing GPU usage, kind of things. If these capabilities exist, what kind of applications and systems do we provide them with? Thanks for your answer, sir.
Sorry, I'm answering a question in chat really quick. So you're saying, are we able to dynamically manage GPU resources to make sure that we can serve demand?
Yep.
Yeah, we actually can. So I'll give you two examples. If you're training an AI model, you actually need a certain kind of, you need a lot of internet speed, right? A lot of bandwidth, and you typically need all the GPUs to be in the same location because you're using something like, Infinity Band, right? You can't actually train a model on GPUs that are distributed, that are not in the same location, because the latency between the GPUs makes it like impossible to train a model, right? It takes forever. Versus when you're inferencing, like when you're serving that last mile, you can actually have GPUs that are in very different locations because each GPU is serving a small set of users, as opposed to like training a model and having to communicate with all the other GPUs. So when you deploy on IO.net, I'm using AI as an example. When you deploy on IO.net, we actually recognize what kind of workload you need, and also users can select the type of workload they're trying to run, and we optimize the selection of GPUs in the cluster to make sure that we're serving your need properly, right? So if you say, hey, I want to train a model, we're not going to give you GPUs that are all across the world. We're going to give you GPUs in a data center that's in one spot, so you can train your GPU. If you're trying to inference, we're going to say, hey, you can actually run GPUs from across the world, and you actually want to have distributed GPUs because you want these nodes to be closer to your end user, right? And so we do optimize in that way.
Yeah, thanks, sir. Thanks for your satisfactory answer for me.
Of course. All right, next question. Sun, I think you've been waiting for a while.
Hey, hi Husky, I'm Sun. Thank you for having me on stage. I have two questions related to IONET business. So I saw in the chat that you say that you had 30 plus expansion contracts in hand waiting to execute after the TTE, right? So I just want to know, like, what are durations for these contracts, and are they like all effective simultaneously? Because I'm worrying that there will be like any problem of the shortage of the supply of certain kind of CPUs.
I'm not super worried about shortage. I'm really not. Yeah, I'm really not worried about a shortage of supply. I think we've kind of demonstrated that we have the ability to find supply. I think our next step is ensuring that we have platform stability so that we can serve the demand side. And I'm also not that worried about platform stability because, like I said, the current version of IO.net is just not representative of what we will have after we launch. Like, our number one goal is to solve platform stability permanently, because now we have a good sense of how many people want to contribute supply. We have a good sense of what a scaled community looks like from a size perspective. And so, you know, a lot of this is just learnings because we just did not expect, we didn't expect to be this big, like full stop. We grew way too fast, right? And that's a good thing. We're just kind of like our own growth is making things very hard for us. But that's why you do a beta, right? That's why you do a rewards program. That's why you have this whole period before we launch. I don't think anyone here wants us to answer these questions after we launch, right? Everyone wants us to figure out all the broken things before the token launches, and that's why we're doing this.
I see, I see. So, what about the 30 plus expansion contract that you said? Will it be like publicly announced after the TGA?
So you probably have already seen some of the. So we pushed out the customer announcement with Korea today. There's another one coming next week, maybe. Hans is the one who manages our comm schedule, but we're actually pushing out a lot of customer PRs. Not every customer wants to do PR, by the way. You know, some of these AI companies would rather be a little bit more secretive. And at the end of the day, we sign NDAs with these companies, and so if they don't want to do a PR announcement, we can't disclose, right? But we're going to try our best to circulate all the customers that we work with.
Okay, got it. My last question is like, what are your potential competitors in the field, and do you have like a preventive measures to like maintain the market share that Ionic currently have?
We're very different than most DePINs, because we actually are an aggregator of DePINs. We're a DePIN of DePINs, right? So yeah, there's a lot of other hardware networks in this space. We view ourselves more as a orchestration and networking layer on top of DePINs, and so instead of thinking about people as competitors, I think about them as partners, right? We're the only DePIN that is partnered with Render. We're the only DePIN that's partnered with Filecoin, with Gaiman. We're looking at partnerships with every other DePIN because other DePINs want to use our network technology, right? And so our goal is to not just be a big DePIN, we want to be the biggest collection of networks as well.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for your information.
Thank you. All right, who's next?
Hey, can I go?
Please.
Thanks. I have a couple questions. One was going back to a different question that was asked about connection speeds. So I know obviously better connection, better rewards. But a couple weeks ago, I bought a 4090 just for this. I have two other 3060 Ti's that I've been using for it that I have in my house. I have a gig synchronous connection, fiber. I'm just wondering if it makes sense for a little guy like me to upgrade my connection to like maybe 2 gigs or 5 gigs, if that would make sense. But, it'll cost like an extra $50 a month at least to get to 2 gigs. I'm just wondering if for us little guys, does it make sense to have like that larger internet connection, or is that really for the data centers and stuff like that?
So I'm going to give you guys, again, I'm not here to give you financial advice, right? But I'm going to give you guys sort of what I would do, right? Is, you already know that for the purposes of the rewards program, we're being pretty lax about kind of all these connection details, right? We're being really lax with uptime because, again, we know there's platform instability, right? So we're kind of regardless of where your connection speed is and kind of regardless of what your uptime looks like, everyone's going to get pretty decent rewards, right, for being part of the community. Again, I can't promise you what that's going to be because there's a million of you guys, and like when we run the calculation on the back end, we'll see where things end up. But I'm doing my best to make sure that it's as balanced as possible, and we're trying to get everyone something that will make you happy, right?
Yeah.
So knowing that there's 3.5 weeks left before TGE and that we're going to release the final mechanism on the 15th, I would just wait. Like wait until we publish something so that you're not investing, time and capital, and that you're going to be able to make an informed decision like in very short order, right? And it's pretty easy to upgrade your internet speed, so it's not like you're missing out on much by waiting. That's what I would do.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. The other question was, like, we see, everybody doing pre-sales and stuff right now. As far as I've asked in the community, it sounds like we're not doing a pre-sale for like public launch or anything like that. And obviously, you guys know what the heck you're doing. So I was just curious more about your mindset around that, like, because we've talked about today how we're going to break Solana and who it's going to go crazy on launch. Like, what was your reasoning about not doing a pre-sale like that, I guess?
Honestly, it's a good question. We didn't want to do a pre-sale because I'm actually just being very honest here. I didn't want to do a pre-sale because I just did not want to have to deal with hundreds of thousands of people being upset. Right? It's sort of easy for me to say, hey, there was no public pre-sale. No one got a public pre-sale. I'm sorry. Instead of saying, hey, yeah, we had a public pre-sale. Only 10,000 people could get in. I know that's not very great to hear because I'm sure everyone wanted a piece of it, but it's already hard to have like 500,000 stakeholders in the community, and I just didn't want to deal with it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you, man. Great questions. Who's next?
May I ask you a question?
Please.
Hi, Hashki. So I have like several questions. First one, Galaxy tasks, namely messaging task. So I know it was updated, but it seems that it's not working. And I just wanted to ask what are you thinking about it? And yeah, just about this task. So yeah.
Can you say that again? You're kind of cutting in and out. It's a little echoey.
I'm sorry. I mean messaging task in Galaxy. So what do you think about it? It's laggy, and I know. Yeah, I know it's a painful one, but like I'm almost a month here in IO. No, like a month and several days, and like almost every day I'm answering in chat. Please, guys, be patient. It's a Galaxy's bug, and I'm doing Galaxy task like since token launch. And I understand what is it Galaxy. So maybe are there any solutions about Galaxy? And yeah, maybe this task should be cancelled. This makes no sense.
Yeah, it's a good feedback. I think I might actually have the Galaxy team remove it. We wanted to reward people for being in the chat for a long time, but the Galaxy bot, for whatever reason, does not have permissions to the general channel where it's tracking users, and so it's just not working. And honestly, maybe I set it up wrong. I would not be surprised. It's just like not something I'm very worried about right now. And
you're not the first one. I mean, with the Galaxy,
maybe we'll remove it.
Yeah, it's what I wanted to hear. It's like so buggy, and Galaxy was always so buggy. You're not the first one, and you won't be the last one, I think. Yeah.
Let me talk to the Galaxy team and see if we can remove it. I just want to say this though. I know Galaxy's a bit buggy, but they've been really good partners to us, and so I don't want people to be mean to them. They've been amazing partners and a huge part of our growth. I think some of the individual products like the message tracking just doesn't work as well as we thought it would.
Yeah, of course. As I said, I'm doing Galaxy Desk like since token launch, so it's almost 3 years right now, I guess. And Galaxy is incredible, but still laggy, and yeah. And second one, there was a bug with airdrop tier 2 roles. I don't know why, but there are 2 airdrop roles in Galaxy Task. So can you check it? I know I just sent a message in support. I don't know why there are just 2 tasks with airdrop tier 2 role.
Sorry, I think we removed it. Yeah, previously.
Okay. Yeah, okay, and yeah, I think it's all. Yes, yeah. Just wanted to know something about airdrop tier 3 role, but you just answered about it. Like, I don't want to say I'm grinding it and any other grinding airdrop tier 3 role, but sometimes I see people they're here like 1 week and they have tier 3, tier 4 role, and some people's like me like a month and more, and I just don't really get how you distribute those roles. Can you just tell me a little bit more? Yeah.
Not a ton of rhyme or reason, my friend. Again, the airdrop roles in Discord, I should have named them something else because it creates so much confusion. But the roles in Discord are really just meant for they're really just meant for us to be able to, like, one, manage bots and move people through the server progression, and two, if we did want to run something ad hoc that wasn't a good fit for a Galaxy, we can do it with the roles. But for example, I just gave you airdrop tier 3. Zero rhyme or reason, right? I'm not saying that if you ask a question you get the role. It's just something that we can do to provide like some small amount of reward for people who are in the community. I would not worry about it. Like I said, Discord roles and Galaxy are probably the smallest portions of the airdrop. Being a worker is the best way to do it because it actually adds network value. All right, who's next?
Can I go?
We got 10 minutes. Yep, go.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, perfect. I have 3 questions. I'm trying to be as fast as I can. So I heard about, first of all, thanks for hosting this. I feel like you're a very eloquent speaker, so congrats to you. Very clear everything you've answered. I was having problems, or not problems, but like maybe a little bit of interest on what you said and what everyone has been talking about Solana stability and problems in the long run. I remember when there has been problems with Solana in the near term, so in the near past. And I was thinking, you talked about a little bit that it's like a network bug and then maybe hashing it out. It's a good thing that the TGE is 3 weeks away. But in the long run, do you think there's going to be like a recurrent problem, or do you hope for it to like maybe hash it out? That it gets hashed out or solved, and it's not.
Well, this is a great question. I'm gonna take the next 8 minutes to answer this question, and I'm sorry for the people who I don't have time to get to. I will do more of these, by the way. If I have a break in meetings, I will try to spend as much time with you guys as I can. I gotta send you guys my calendar one of these days. Every day I get up at 5 a.m. and I basically am in meetings until like 10 p.m. It's crazy. Anyway, to answer your question,
confirm that. Sorry.
yeah, Hans has seen my calendar. Okay, so to answer your question, we think that the SVM is a very, very powerful tool, and Solana has been incredible partners, right? And I have no doubt that with FireDancer and with some of the updates that they're making, that Solana will continue to be a chain that scales. However, we have already been testing out different VMs, and the team actually really likes Move VM, specifically Aptos Move VM, and we've already moved the BC8 inference infrastructure to Aptos. You can confirm that. Go to the Explorer, go to inferences, and you can view the BC8 inferences, and you'll see that they're actually on the Aptos Explorer. And we're doing this because we want to test different infrastructure so that when we launch our own chain, we know what we want to do. We will keep the staking, the token, the emissions, the rewards, and the payments infrastructure on Solana because I think Solana is actually pretty good for payments. The inference infrastructure, we're actually going to move somewhere else. In the medium to long term, we are already working with a partner that will be announced later this April to build our own Aptos Move chain. Because even though we believe that these chains will scale and get better, nothing beats having your own block space, right? If we have our own chain, we know how much block space we have. We can dictate some terms like using our own gas token. We can prevent congestion on our own chain. We can configure and work with a data availability layer that has larger block sizes, right? Like 8 megabit block size or 8 megabyte block sizes. These things and these customizations will help us optimize the chain and prevent issues. It also means that when Solana does have an outage or whatever, we're not totally affected. I don't love the idea of launching a new chain right away because it creates a lot of technical requirements, right? Just more stuff that we have to build, more stuff that we have to maintain. But my goal, like I'm cautiously optimistic about this timeline, but my goal is for us to announce our intentions to build the chain in the next 30 days, then to be in testnet by say 6 months after TGE, and then have mainnet by 12 months after TGE. I just want you to know that that is a very optimistic timeline, right? It would be amazing if we can hit it. Probably would expect that to be delayed by 4 or 5 months, especially the mainnet portion. But we are trying to work with pre-existing stacks so that we can get to a chain a lot faster. We're, just to let you guys know, we're talking to Movement, we're talking to Optimism, we're talking to Arbitrum, we're talking to Celestia, we're talking to Zero G. We're piecing together a stack that makes sense for us to deploy, that gives us a lot of flexibility over our own block space, over our own DA layer, gives us a lot of flexibility over our own native fee token, which we want to be IO. There's a lot that kind of goes into building that. And at the same time, we also want to use a pre-existing structure because that allows us to bootstrap things like a wallet and Explorer. Like we don't have to create those things again, right? We can use an existing ecosystem of products. Building on one of these changes is also important to me because I believe that in addition to the DPIN, that there's going to be a new segment called DPIN Fi, which effectively is going to be a DeFi layer and a DeFi ecosystem that uses liquid staking tokens from DPINs. And here I will explain like kind of something that you guys can pay attention to, which is the whole restaking and liquid staking meta that you see with Ethereum, I believe is going to happen with DPINs. When a token has inherent value or growing value, it becomes a very interesting staking token. And because DPINs will almost certainly all require a staking token, because how else will you secure the network, right? In our case, we will have a collateralization mechanism, which is effectively staking to provide collateral. There is enormous incentive for a third party to build a liquid staking protocol using IO. They facilitate the staking of IO, give you something like STIO, and then you can use STIO for things like borrow lend, for leverage, for whatever, right? Restaking, whatever. You could have an enormous ecosystem on top of that. But if we were to do that on our own chain without the rest of the ecosystem, you would have to basically clone things like Aave, right? You'd have to build up all of this like infrastructure from the ground up. But if we launch with an existing ecosystem, there are typically already opportunities to do like borrow lend or yield farming or these other like DeFi-esque protocols that can immediately take advantage of a liquid staking token. If that doesn't sound like super bullish to you guys, I don't know what to tell you because that is so exciting to me. It creates enormous utility for IO whenever there's a liquid staking token. It creates enormous utility for DPINs and allows for participation besides the core platform. And I think that, for all of you who are in the crowd who are kind of saying, hey, it sounds like IO might not support, lower end cards, or it sounds like it may not be worth it to run lower end cards. How do I participate in the network? Why is this important to me? Collateralization mechanisms, a DeFi ecosystem on top of DPINs is how retail can get involved, right? It's how people who can't run nodes can get involved. And it's just going to be a ton of fun. Like if you guys remembered DeFi Summer in 2021 and you guys enjoyed doing that, just wait for DePIN Summer. I think we're in for just a really, really interesting ecosystem of tools and products. All right, I have time for one more fast question.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
Hello, can I speak?
Yes, you are the last question.
Thank you. I have a question. Why our node is not supplied to you, but not put it to work? Can we use it to work for us? It will be very helpful to have some kind of software which prioritize the work to be done. For instance, if we mine with our cards and the software detects that IO.NET wants our power to stop mining and to go to IO.NET because a lot of hardware to just stay and receive tokens, it's not very good for me. I think that the power of the hardware have to be used.
I agree with you. Utilization is extremely important. I mentioned this earlier, but the current version of IO.NET was built to support worker growth and to support about 50, 60,000 workers. Once we exceeded that number, the platform became really unstable, and we don't want to bring customers into an unstable environment. We're launching a new version of IO.NET on April 28th. That'll be a much more stable environment to bring customers into. depending on the worker that you have, it just may not be utilized, right? That the reality is right now, because we're focusing on AI workloads, lower end cards just don't have the same hire rate as the A100s and H100s. That's a market dynamic. And as we expand into different use cases, like say running Web3 infrastructure, there should be much higher utilization rate of lower end cards. I don't know what you're running in the network, but if you want to DM me, I can kind of give you some pointers and give you a very real and honest answer about how I feel about your hire rate in the future. I can't guarantee anything, but if you're curious if it's worth your time to do it, maybe we can have a conversation. I can help you. Okay, guys, this has been really fun. I apologize for having to run, but we will do more of these. And by the way, if you guys have questions on support or anything like that, I know the ticketing system is terrible. I know that Discord is super buggy. I think we're implementing either Zendesk or Intercom to manage on-site ticketing. We just hired a new super experienced customer support director or VP of customer support who comes from enterprise companies, and he's going to help implement a much better process for ticketing. Give him a couple weeks. He just started on Tuesday. We're going to move support out of Discord because it's impossible to manage. But if you guys ever have any questions, I know that some of you guys have my Telegram, so feel free to DM me. Please don't spam me, but I will try to get to everyone whenever I can. All right. Thank you again for your time, and we'll talk soon.